Hi, this is totally against regulations. So, happy Veterans Day. This is an ACU. It has no Velcro insignia on it of any kind, so I'm not breaking any regulations. Maybe some of you have seen this before, maybe some of you have worn these before. Over here, your last name is displayed. Here, your rank. Here, your military branch, because consider your heart is a little off-center. You would wear U.S. Army over your heart. Over here would be the United States of America American flag. Some people who've seen it have remarked that it looks like it's backwards. Well, it's reversed, it's flipped, because if you were running forward holding a pole with a flag on it, the American flag on it, seen from this side, you would see the blue in the corner there, and then the red and white stripes behind it, trailing behind it. So it looks like it's backwards, but that's why. And here would be the insignia of the unit that the soldier deployed with. And over on this arm would be the insignia of the unit that the soldier is currently assigned to. So now you know. I don't know how they get any work done in these uniforms. They're so comfortable. It's just like pajamas. I want to sleep. So some of you may not be aware of all of the the assortment of jobs and duties that that different soldiers have in the military. Some of them have desk jobs and they work behind a computer and they answer phone calls. You know, their network support, or their human resources, or their finances, or you know, all different sorts of jobs. Not all soldiers work out in the field. Not all of them are deployed. So you might see a soldier with the reverse American flag here, but no patch here, no unit insignia here underneath the flag. That means that that soldier hasn't deployed. They haven't been out. They call it in theater, where they stage their military operations outside of the U.S. And yeah, so if you see a veteran today, I hope you are supportive. If you aren't feeling the love, you aren't feeling the support, you know, that's cool, that's fine, it's alright. It's okay. You don't have to be patriotic. But now maybe you know a little bit more about at least the Army military uniform. I swear the birds get noisier when I talk. Alright, so the latest thing I wanted to share is that yesterday I was so tired. I went to bed by 4 p.m., 4 in the afternoon, and I stayed in bed. Even though I woke up, I stayed in bed and went back to sleep. And it went on that way until my alarms went off, and I didn't get out of bed until 7 a.m. So, wow, felt really tired. Didn't have any energy, didn't have any mental desire to focus on anything or obsess over anything. And I had peripheral neuropathy. If you're wondering what peripheral neuropathy is, it basically means tingling, numbness in a limb, an appendage. It feels like pinpricks, you know, little tiny microscopic pinpricks. And it sort of tingles, and you might not be able to feel a sensation very well where you're having this neuropathy. So when I got out of bed, I thought to myself, it's been a while since I've studied anything, I might as well look up zinc and peripheral neuropathy, because it seems like every time I have peripheral neuropathy, it's related to zinc and or a deficiency of vitamin B12. Because I used to have a supplement that was zinc and copper, and I finished that a while ago. and I got a supplement that was just zinc and a supplement that was zinc with vitamin C. So I recently read that zinc and vitamin C don't absorb very well together. You want to take them separate. So I started just taking the zinc, and it's 25 milligrams, which I think 15 milligrams is probably enough. But the thing about zinc is that your body maintains a ratio of zinc to copper, where if it gets out of proportion, and you have too much of one and too little of the other, you're going to have problems with immune function, problems with the health of your nerves. So I thought it really interesting that when I looked up zinc and peripheral neuropathy, that it said that, this shouldn't be surprising, given what you know about too little causes problems, too much causes problems. Too little zinc can cause peripheral neuropathy, too much zinc can cause peripheral neuropathy. You really want to be careful and keep it in a range, and so what that can tell you is you might be deficient in zinc, or you might be getting too much zinc and be deficient in copper. I've mentioned this before when talking about molybdenum, that if you take too much molybdenum, it can antagonize copper, and you will become copper deficient. So bringing this all around to another video that I made, a video that I previously made when I was talking about excess dopamine and sleepiness. I mentioned that the enzyme that converts dopamine into norepinephrine is a copper-containing enzyme that needs vitamin C as a cofactor. So this is very good to know, because when I think back on my mental health history, it's possible that when I was younger, I knew I was getting a lot of vitamin C. I loved orange juice, loved oranges, loved orange everything. Drank a lot of orange juice. I was getting plenty of vitamin C. But if you're getting a lot of vitamin C and a lot of copper, my theory would be that your body is possibly channeling that into making the enzyme that converts dopamine into norepinephrine, and then you get anxiety states, possibly psychosis, and you're very alert, you're not sleepy at all, as opposed to, like I said in the previous video, where if you have excess dopamine and very low norepinephrine, you're going to be tired, you're going to be sleepy, you're going to fall asleep easy, have a condition that's similar to narcolepsy, and is probably caused by a deficiency of that enzyme. So, something that I would recommend to people, if they are feeling tired and sick, if they're having a lowered immune function, if they're having allergies, to consider having their zinc-copper ratio tested, their serum levels tested, because if it's that simple, it should be easy to adjust what foods you're eating and or adjust your supplements to try to compensate for that. Something else I found really interesting, reading about, I posted, maybe I could find it again, but it was an article that was discussing how people who smoke marijuana tend to have very low levels of dopamine. Very low. And when they quit, those levels can climb. They can gradually increase and go back up to normal levels. But while they're smoking marijuana and they're high, the level of dopamine is very low. So there's not going to be much motivation to do anything, because that's what dopamine is. It's a neurochemical that rewards you for doing something, which is why it's so important when you're learning that your levels of glutamate and dopamine are balancing, they're partnered with each other well in a way that you have the incentive to keep learning, that you enjoy it, that you find it rewarding, personally fulfilling. So if there's problems with glutamate and dopamine, you're probably going to have issues paying attention and be easily distracted, things like that. It might be related to attention deficit disorders and things like that. The reason that I mentioned copper, you might be copper deficient if you're having problems with allergies, is because your body uses copper to make histaminase, which is the enzyme that breaks down histamine, and that could explain it. That could explain why someone's suddenly very sensitive to things that they weren't sensitive to before, and I think I covered everything. There are at least 4 enzymes listed and explained in the Wikipedia article about copper and copper deficiency. And also you want to be careful about copper toxicity. Just like with the zinc, where if you have too little too much, you can have peripheral neuropathy. You don't want to have too little copper or too much copper. And usually people can make changes in their nutritional, in their diet, and what they're eating, or include things that they haven't been eating to compensate for it. And they shouldn't need to take a supplement. So you can easily look up what kind of foods contain these things that you're needing. And like for example, I'm going to try sunflower seeds, and I'm going to try avocados, and see if that helps me get over this this sleepiness and lack of energy and lack of motivation. It also makes sense that I would be feeling this way after a course of antibiotics, because one of the enzymes, or 1 or 2 of them, that your body uses to deal with ROS, reactive oxygen species, or oxidative stress, it uses copper to do that. There's the enzyme's called superoxide dismutase, I think, and it uses copper and zinc to make that. So me supplementing with zinc after my body just has been using up my copper supplies to deal with the antibiotics, it's just like, okay, where's the copper? So I think I covered everything I want to talk about. Anyway, happy Veterans Day. Be cool. Stay in school.